Good evening. It is 5:05. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd just like to make a note for the minutes that Commissioner Nickel is in traffic and will be here as soon as possible. We want a chance to look at the agenda. Any changes needed or additions? Seeing none. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carries 4-0. Thank you. I'll restate the agenda items. We'll have public input on non-agenda items. We have several items on the consent agenda, which is basically expenditures and minutes. We'll have a recognition ceremony the chief will present. The chief's report on unfinished business. We have an update on our high water vehicle acquisition, and also an update on hiring for firefighters, HR manager, and assistant chief of training, education, and safety. New business, item 10, we'll have a draft ordinance, basically an administrative, fire chief remarks, commissioner remarks, and then we will adjourn. All right, with that being said, do I have a motion to approve items A through E on the consent agenda?
I'll move.
Second.
Discussion? Public input? All in favor?
Aye.
Carries 4-0. Thank you. That takes us to item number 7 already. Recognition of first responders on the incident 3/18/25. Chief. Very good. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. For the people in the audience, Scott Worth, the Fire Chief for Fort Myers Beach. I am pleased that we are able to put this agenda item on after the agenda was done. Last week on Tuesday, just before noon, our folks, Fort Myers Beach Fire, Lee County Sheriff's Office, were both dispatched to a cardiac arrest beachside at Margaritaville. Engine 32, Battalion 30, and Rescue 33, along with the LCSO deputies, were dispatched to the call. While en route, our crews were notified by dispatch that CPR was in progress. Dispatch added that CPR had been started by a member of the town of Fort Myers Beach, Beach Patrol, and was being assisted by 2 off-duty firefighters. Upon arrival, our crew could see that CPR was being performed on the beach. Once our crews made patient contact, they were given a report that the patient, the approximately 50-year-old male, was walking along the beach and suddenly collapsed. While the Beach Patrol and firefighters performed CPR, a member of the Sheriff's Department retrieved an AED. The patient was shocked 3 times with the AED, and because of these efforts, we encountered an unconscious patient, but with pulse and breathing on their own. The patient then suddenly started to awake, opening his eyes, and was eventually able to verbally communicate with our team. The crews from Rescue 33 and Engine 32 stabilized the patient before loading him for transport. In the ambulance, it was all hands as our folks ran a battery of tests to rule out a few key issues, ensuring the right hospital was selected before they left the scene. We transported this patient to Health Park Hospital and transferred care to the hospital staff. Currently, the patient is still in the care of Health Park Hospital. He is alive and well with full faculties. Within the fire and EMS community, we recognize the efforts of those who are able to successfully resuscitate a patient. It's what we call a pre-hospital SAVE Award. This award recognizes the responders for their outstanding performance, culminating in giving another human being a second chance at life after suffering a cardiac arrest. So tonight, I wanted to bring in those folks who were instrumental in this gentleman's outcome and recognize them for their professionalism and their valiant efforts. So if I could, I'll just bring everybody up. Can I have Roxanne Tushy with the Fort Myers Beach Patrol? Roxanne was the first one to make contact with this patient, and she started CPR. And it's my understanding that the 2 off-duty firefighters from the city of Naples who we will recognize another time, were there and able to come and assist Roxanne with continuing the CPR. If I can have Deputy David Goff come up from LCSO. I believe Deputy Goff. Very good. Deputy Francisco Generali. Did I say it right? Tim Hoffman, Fort Myers Beach Patrol. Michael Mahan at Beach Patrol. From our staff in here tonight, Captain Mike Brown. Firefighter paramedic John Nichols. And then not here tonight was firefighter paramedic Alejandro Kraus. Also not here from the group was acting lieutenant that day, Ivan Rojo, engineer Billy Galuski, firefighter Ryan Fisher, and the 2 firefighters from the city of Naples, firefighter Thomas Jussum and Sam Schultz. You can. Michael? Thank you. Give them pass the AD. Give them stop. Everybody up here. Good job. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I think I speak to the rest of the board. I just want to say thank you, job well done to all who participated in the recovery and the save. It's a big deal. It is probably one of the best examples of how our community works together, how we all have the same goal, and it's such a great cooperative effort between all of our agencies. So my sincere thanks on behalf of the board. Thank you.
Commissioner Bennett,
Yes, sir.
if I could have one more minute.
Sure.
Tom Torgerson, affiliated with Margaritaville, which is where the event happened. He'd like to say a few words.
Thank you, Tom Torgerson with Margaritaville. I just want to express our ultimate gratitude. Our 450-member team is just so grateful for their heroic action and competency and immediacy in responding in this case and saving this life. Thank you very much.
One more thing to close this out.
Yes, sir.
I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize the whole group that's led by Tom Yazzo with the town. Tom's been instrumental in working with the fire department and getting his crews to the point where they understand that they're out there to handle anything. And I know that they had no hesitation that day because of the guidance they've been given, the leadership they've been given. So I would like to thank Tom Yazzo for his guidance. This was his team that made the difference in the early moments of this. So
Awesome.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And as a public reminder, we do host a fairly robust discount program for AED purchases. If your civic group individually want to purchase one, go to our website. You'll see some contact information. The program basically gives you the same buying power as the fire district to purchase an AED, so it's a substantial discount and proven technology. So they're very easy to use. I've had the pleasure of having one by my side a lot when needed. So, thanks again. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I'd like to add to our festivities. All of these people saved a life. I don't know if he was a local or he was visiting, but that person is still alive due to the efforts of everyone here and everyone who's not here. It makes me extremely proud to be part of this organization. Thank you. Everyone who was involved, thank you so much. And even if you weren't involved, if you see somebody do a face plant on the beach, call 911 because you need it. Thank you so much.
Well said, Ron. Anybody else?
I just want to have you remind everyone too about the classes that the fire department offers. Well, Chief, you go ahead and tell them the different things that we offer for free.
Sure. So the fire department has a variety of services that we can provide. We can provide training if your community were to pick up an AED, which we have some of the condo communities that are purchasing these defibrillators. Defibrillator is a key instrument in early resuscitation for people who go into sudden cardiac arrest. So we have the ability to come out and help to understand and learn how to use that device. We also can teach first aid classes, fire safety with extinguisher use. So if there's anything related to public safety and there's any kind of education that you want as part of your community or homeowners association, reach out to your fire department, whether you live here on the beach or anywhere else, and likely those services are available in some fashion for you. Good point.
Yep,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and I, again, would like to thank everybody for coming tonight. And in my haste to recognize our individuals, I forgot to open the floor to public input on non-agenda items. So we'll do so at this time. If anybody would like to get up and make a statement. Seeing none, we'll continue with the rest of the agenda. All right, takes us right to the chief's report.
Very good.
Would anyone like to leave?
Now, if anybody who doesn't want to sit through the chief's report, if you're here for the first item, you're welcome to.
It's riveting.
welcome to
Yes.
stay.
Will not offend.
Thank you.
And thank you to
so
the
much.
families for coming too.
All
Yeah.
right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Comment.
I was just making an assumption, but thank you for coming. Thank you.
That looks like the crowd I'm more used to seeing.
Yeah, we cleared that room.
She's fine.
She wants to stay. Where's
Free
she wants to
beer in
stay.
here.
It's your next commissioner.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
All right, down to the bare bones we're used to.
Yes, there
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So for the chief's report, first off, good evening, commissioners, and thank you for braving the traffic to get here. So for the last few months, we've been busy at FMB. I'm happy to report that we are growing. We've been busy with a hiring process for the HR manager, training chief, and for 3 firefighters. In all cases, we've been very fortunate to have very competent candidates who want to be a part of our team. We now have several folks going through the vetting process, and we look forward to introducing them to you in the coming months. Last month, we held a community forum for the merger study. I'd like to thank those members of our community who braved the traffic to attend in person, as well as those who participated online. I'd also like to thank Ed Ryan of Beach Talk Radio for broadcasting the meeting and facilitating questions from the online community. As a follow-up to that community meeting, we'll soon have a public survey available online at our website and through our social media channels for anybody who couldn't attend or anybody who wants to add some detail to what they offered that night. This month has been full of celebrations for FMB. Everybody had a great time participating in the Shrimp Festival parade. Fortunately, we had plenty of candy for the kids this year. It was good to see the large crowds and to see the number of floats increasing this year over last. A week later, we participated in the St. Patrick's Day Parade on the south end of the island, followed by the grand reopening of the FMB Library on Sunday morning. If you haven't been by the new station, it's now in overdrive and it's progressing nicely. The footers were poured the week before last with nearly 20 cement trucks needed before everything moves along. Last week, we started going vertical, while at the same time doing the underground plumbing and electrical. It's now starting to look like something with the walls, columns, and beams in the works and being formed up. Our construction team is working closely with their subcontractors to continue to refine the schedule as much as possible. We're working hard to get the structure as far along as we possibly can before rainy season sets in.
Nice.
In administration, under finance and human resources, we initiated closeout procedures with FEMA for hurricanes Helene and Milton. The state of Florida will review these project documentation for these two events, and over the next few months, hopefully advise FEMA to obligate the following funding. We have emergency protective measures for Hurricane Helene in the amount of $25,284. We have reimbursement of repairs to our engine and that deductible of $5,000. And then for Hurricane Milton, we have emergency protective measures of $126,438. As you know, Hurricane Milton, we had the emergency shelter, we double staffed, and we evacuated the island. The district received 11 applications for the firefighter paramedic position, invited 8 to interview, and we are hiring up to 3 firefighters to get our current full staffing number to 12 per shift. Later in the year, we'll be hiring additional firefighters and doing promotions for the opening of the station early part of 2026. We're also excited to report that of the 22 applicants for the position of Assistant Chief of Training, Education and Safety, 14 were invited to continue to the assessment phase. The assessments were held over a 3-day period where we tested local candidates on the first day and the out-of-town candidates on the second day. The third day included a tour of the district for the top 4 candidates, and this provided an opportunity for firefighters and our other members of the department to meet the candidates and provide some feedback. We're very fortunate to have many highly qualified candidates, making this hiring decision challenging. Information and technology and security. So for IT, we're acquiring new laptops for members of administration. And as each user transitions to their new laptop, their old laptop will be used in other locations around the district. This allows for the decommissioning of the old desktops that are no longer supported for Windows 11. We're also beginning an upgrade of Telestaff, our scheduling program. Telestaff is transitioning us to a different cloud server, so this is the right time for us to automate some of our staffing procedures. We're also implementing enhanced security features such as single sign-on. Single sign-on will integrate with our current Microsoft 360 environment to authenticate users using our Microsoft credentials, as well as enabling multi-factor authentication while making it easier for the end users. If you signed into any of your accounts and you know how you have to have something sent to your email or phone, because we have security parameters in place through our main sign-on, when our folks sign on to the computer at the beginning of the day, it'll automatically sign them into this program. We're working on making other programs work that way so that it's a more seamless environment for the users when they're on the machines during the day. So for operations in February, our folks attended the Orlando Fire Conference, where several of our members attended the hands-on practical training. The training was titled Mid-Rise Mayhem and included a series of tasks to simulate real-world fire attacks in buildings from 3 to 8 stories. The firefighters practiced advancing hose lines straight off the engine. They practiced Mayday operations, which is what we call if one of our own is trapped or injured. And they practiced bailout drills where firefighters have to escape rapidly escalating fire conditions by exiting a window onto a ladder as quickly as possible. While the firefighters practiced their hands-on skills, 4 of our officers attended the Incident Command Academy. This was 2 days of managing escalating incidents, and these incidents range from rapidly growing fires to handling maydays, where firefighters get trapped inside burning structures and they must be rescued. This month, departments from around the county have been training in a high-rise in the city of Fort Myers. That building is going to be torn down, and it's providing an opportunity for everybody to get some high-rise training. The first phase of the high-rise training had our guys practicing the use of standpipes for firefighting, to include giving our hose, nozzle, and tool setup a close evaluation to see if we could be doing a better or a different job with our setups. Being able to see different setups from other departments and how they use them and have conversations with the others is provided an invaluable learning opportunity, and it allows us to keep growing together in our operations as a county. In the report, you'll see some graphics with our training for the months of February and March. On our response data, what I want to highlight there is you'll see from January of last year to this year, February and March for that case, we're seeing that the call volume is starting to come back as we thought it would. So getting that station built and open as people continue to come back to the island will prove invaluable with us ramping back up to our normal operations. Under life safety, you'll see that fairly similar from last year to this year for our fire inspections. For December, the inspections were a little bit lower than December of last year, same for January, but in February they're radically higher. We're starting to see more projects coming out of the ground, which is leading to more inspections. And you'll see that our permits from this year to last year the permit flow was a little bit higher than it is this year, hopefully meaning that all those projects that we issued permits for are now coming out of the ground. On page 7, you'll see for external plan review that we're seeing an increase in February over the prior months for all the departments for that matter, with the exception of Captiva. Those numbers represent the plan reviews that we're doing for the other departments that we collaborate with, being San Carlos Park, Captiva, South Trail, and Lehigh Acres. And then under revenues, you'll see that total revenues for Fort Myers Beach for permitting and inspections is about $45,000 for the 3-month period. And then the revenues for the 4 other departments is about the same, about $45,000 for all 4 of those other departments. Kind of gives an idea of how much is happening out here versus other areas around the county. Then under community outreach, we did AED and CPR classes. We did 2 of those in January and February, and we have 6 future classes scheduled for the upcoming few months. And then for under community development, redevelopment, Fire Official Campbell wanted me to highlight that Sunset Beach Tropical Grill is in the works in plan review, as is 601 Estero Boulevard. That's going to be a 3-story multifamily. The plans for Bowditch Point Park and First Baptist Church. And then finally, I'd like to recognize some anniversaries for our members. In February, Engineer Andy Vila completed 19 years of service. Engineer Tate Sturdivant completed 19 years. Firefighter Hermes Laser completed 9 years. Firefighter Paul Montenegro, 8 years. Fire Fisher Jennifer Campbell, 6 years. Life Safety Specialist Chris Cox with 5 years. And then in March, we have Craig Kaufman, who completes 3 years this month. Congratulations, Craig. And that is my report.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
A lot to cover. We had a little bit of a break since our last meeting with the updates, so we appreciate it. Thank you. Any questions on the Chief's report or comments?
Excellent.
All right, takes us on to unfinished business. We'll have an update on the progress of the high water vehicle. Back to you, sir.
Thank you. I had a couple slides, but I'm not set up, so I'll just explain it. So on the high water vehicle, the last time I updated on this, we were looking at something between the amphibious vehicle or the LMTV. Both of those projects were somewhere around, looking at around $300,000. I've had some concerns about spending that kind of money, and with more conversations with both our internal folks with the USAR team and the leadership for the regional USAR team, wasn't sure that amphibious vehicle would be as usable on deployments as I had hoped, which makes it kind of harder to come get recommended $300,000. So where I'm at now is I'm looking at some other LMTVs that aren't $300,000, maybe with less outfitting, trying to bring that price point down, and also evaluating the recommendations from the USAR team of using regular pickup trucks putting tires on to get some higher clearance, and then adding to that a small boat on trailer. So basically, we go as far as we can go with the truck, and if we have to unload the boat, we can go further with that. So I'm still undecided. It is still a project. We're doing our homework and trying to make sure we bring the best option forward at the.
Thank you.
That's all right. Thanks, sir. Thank you. All right, next item under unfinished business, update on hiring.
So I've hit on a lot of it, but I'll just go a little further. In our budget, we have 2 administrative positions, assistant chief positions. We actually have the assistant chief of training, which is the one we tested for. We also have the position that's vacant right now is my old position, and that's district chief. So when we did this testing, we weren't sure how qualified all the candidates were. We had some very qualified candidates. I tell you that because we have extended offers to fill 2 of the positions. We've extended offers to fill the assistant chief of operations and the assistant chief of training. And we have both of those folks have accepted, and they're now going through the background processes. So if you're wondering, assistant chief of operations right now is Chris. And so I'd like Chris to keep developing underneath me, and he's doing such a good job that I intend to, in the coming months, move Chris up to district chief. So Chris will work underneath me, and he will have operations and training underneath him. So that is our plan moving forward, and I don't anticipate any problems with our candidates. We're seeing a lot of their backgrounds and their preliminary stuff, and they're both very squared away. So. And then our other one, which we were very excited about, and I know Jane is our HR position. So we were a little concerned. We only had a handful of folks that met the qualifications when it came right down to it. And, but once we got into interviews, I think we were very pleasantly surprised with what we saw. So, Jane, do you want to add anything about our candidate for that?
Very excited. She's got a wide variety of experience that includes HR, accounting, marketing, just a wide variety. She ran a municipal ice skating rink up in Michigan, the upper part of Michigan, and they just moved down to Cape Coral last week.
Perfect.
So we are finishing the assessment process, the background checks, et cetera, and don't anticipate any issues. And we're looking to bring her on board probably the middle of April.
Excellent. Good.
So like Jane said, she's coming to us from Michigan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so she's just moving down here from Michigan. Our training chief is coming to us from the Chicagoland area, so a lot of experience up there. And then our operations chief candidate is coming to us from the East Coast. So he's already in an administrative position over there, and his family was looking to be over on this side of the coast. So we're fortunate to, have been the agency that they were interested in. So that's our update on hiring. And if you have any questions,
Thanks, sir. No, I'm excited to see the new hires and the team, getting back to full strength.
Well, come anytime.
Told you to leave it too. I left the 3, it still didn't work.
'Tis the season. No worries.
Any other comments or questions about the hiring
No.
update? No?
No, thank you.
I'd like to just make a note. I wouldn't consider it new business, but for our coming meetings in the coming years, to not have an evening March meeting would be prudent. I think we can stick to a morning one for March because it's so busy.
I had those thoughts as I was trying.
So if all of us can keep that in mind when we redo our schedule for next year.
We've all been in it,
Right,
so we
exactly.
get it. Yeah.
I walk.
Yeah.
I
You have
do
a bike.
All right. Thanks, Chief. We're going
Thank
to
you.
move on to new business. We have one item, draft ordinance. And that is resolution on public access, which we spoke with Attorney Salzman about just a few months ago. And this in a nutshell, Chief can explain it, just kind of establishes what our protections are as an agency for our personnel and our workspaces.
Very good, thank you. So I'll just jump around here. But it was the beginning of this year, actually January 1st this year, a new law went into effect in Florida, and it's called the HALO law. What it does is it provides not a barrier, but a safe perimeter around our emergency responders when they're out working on the scenes. And it applies to fire, EMS, and police. So if people can film, they can do what they want, but it allows us to keep a perimeter so our folks can both do their job and protect privacy and confidentiality when we're treating patients. So as an extension of that, Attorney Salzman had recommended that we consider also taking our facilities and designating areas that are public areas and then areas that are not public areas. So if somebody comes in and they demand that they're a citizen and the taxpayer and they can go wherever they want, this allows us to pre-designate portions of the facility that are either off limits or would have to be scheduled to visit and inspect. So this resolution that's before you and in your packet is the verbiage provided by Attorney Salzman. He was going to be available by phone, and he has another meeting, but can step out if you want me to get him on the phone for any questions.
Great. Questions, comments?
I don't have any.
No.
None?
None.
I think it's a good resolution. Seems to give us our protections. One of those gaps, as Mr. Salzman kind of highlighted, was the ambush videoing of our personnel is something we don't desire, and it's happening in other districts and departments. So anything we can do to protect our folks, the better. So with that, I will move to adopt Resolution 25-01 titled Public Access as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
None.
Public input? None. All right, so I'll read it really quick. So resolution of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District regarding public access and proving for an effective date. Whereas Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District Commissioners have determined the safety of their employees of the utmost importance, and the Board of Commissioners desires to effectuate the ability of the district to provide public access to district-owned or controlled property for public purposes and non-public purposes. Therefore, be resolved that Fire Control District of Fort Myers Beach shall designate the appropriate district facilities public and non-public forums. And then we break it down into sections and procedures, and we'll not go through the entire verbiage because it's highlighted in the resolution. With that, public comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries 5-0. Thank you. Thanks, Chief.
Okay, thank you. With that, having that resolution in place and designating those areas will also help if the Sheriff's Department needs to help us with a trespass of any kind. Okay, thank you.
All right, takes us to Fire Chief remarks.
Well, I just went through the whole report, so not a whole lot. I do want to highlight the fact that, we, in our hiring process, we had some very strong internal candidates as well. And they did very well in the process. So I want to thank our internal candidates who stepped up and put themselves out there to take a shot at this. I'm sure they're going to be successful, in the coming years. But we just had some super strong folks with quite a bit of experience. And with that, we have talked for a long time about trying to get our folks to take advantage of training and development opportunities, and I'm very pleased and think it's a testament to Chief Arminger and his tenacity in keeping people interested, but we're seeing a lot more people take advantage of these opportunities, develop themselves. I'm not sure if I told you last time, but we had 3 firefighters who developed themselves as acting company officers. Which is helping us fill vacancies when they happen. So I'm just very encouraged in the trajectory of the agency and where it's going. I'm glad to be getting some of these administrative positions filled so we can stop treading water and start do a little more forward thinking and planning for the long term. So
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
That takes us to commissioner remarks. Commissioner Farrell, would you like to start?
Sir? Yes, sure. Couple things that struck me in the course of this meeting. First, I wasn't able to, our folks left early and they missed all of the following riveting information that we just covered. And I would have said it earlier, but I am in awe of all those people that were here and jumped to it, and they saved a life. I think, like, when you say that, it's like, that's so cool. And I am utterly impressed with all those people, and they're kind of sitting there like, yeah. And it's like, no, that's really cool. So I just want to let that be known. Which follows that I'm going to find out more about the CPR and AED classes that the fire department provides, because I'm signing up, and I'm signing up quickly. I'm excited to see the station going up. I ride by that 5 times a week, and I'm going to start taking pictures like once a week just to watch this thing go up. It's very cool. And lastly, when is the next parade? Because I missed the shrimp parade and I missed St. Patty's Day parade.
4th of July?
4th of July.
4th of July, I gotta wait till July. Look, I'm in this gig to ride on a truck. And, you know, I want to, on the back of the ladder, I want to, you know, I'm doing the Kramer thing, I want to be back there, so I will wait for July 4th with anticipation. So
you go.
that'll cover it for me.
We can probably get you on the truck before that with
Yeah.
a ride along with the chief at your schedule.
No special favors.
We're no open contracts right now. It's a good time to just have a conversation and see how our folks operate.
But no, hats off to everybody, because that was something cool to hear about and something to be witness to. So thank you.
Jackie.
Hey, well, just again, thank you to all of them. What Karen said, as somebody who's had to jump in and start CPR on someone, it's frightening. If it's not your everyday role, it's terrifying, frankly. And all this stuff's going through your head, and all you want to do is try to help. And you're so glad when professional personnel show up to kind of relieve you and continue saving the person. So I am also in awe of them. I think awe is a great word, and they have given that family a second chance. So it's priceless, truly priceless. So thank you. And also I want to extend appreciation to all of our team who is reaching out and taking additional training and furthering their careers and furthering their personal growth. You know, it's a big thing for me, and for a long time it seemed like that wasn't happening. So I'm thrilled, because every report now I'm hearing about someone taking advantage of some of the opportunities out there to further their careers and their personal growth. And it just speaks to what's going on in the department. So thank you. Thank you to Chief Arminger and all of the team, and to everyone who makes it a positive work atmosphere every day. So it's a huge thing. And thank you for all the support for Shrimp Fest, and for the library, and for the St. Patrick's Day party. It was a glorious 2 weekends in a row on Fort Myers Beach, and everybody I spoke with said it felt good to be back to normal. So I'm thankful for the traffic. I know it's a pain, but I'm thankful because it means that people are out and they're walking, and you see families and kids and grandparents and pets and friends, and it's glorious. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you. Commissioner Fleming.
I just want to echo everything that everyone said. It was so pleasant to recognize people involved in saving that man's life. We're doing good. If anyone would have told me 3 years ago we would be where we are today, I wouldn't have believed you. The island's looking good. We're coming back. As far as the our people going for training, and Chief Chris can attest to this, that I don't know if we had anybody going to the National Fire Academy, but they're closed. One of the cuts that Dodge said is, we're closed. So there is no National Fire Academy at this point. Hopefully it comes back. But I know we've had people that have gone and may be planning. I know of someone who is going next week, and they said, we're closed. So, But that's, I don't want to get political, but it's not all good. Now, as far as we're concerned, I think we're cold. You know, I mean, just look around. We're in good shape.
Yeah.
Well said. Thanks, sir. Jim?
Thank you. I did want to re-echo your comments about possibly not scheduling a 5 o'clock meeting during the throes of season.
How about 6?
You know, I watched the traffic Monday and Tuesday, and it flowed off very nicely. And so I scheduled my timing accordingly, and it ran right into a buzzsaw tonight, and I was shocked, frankly. And I'm sure the people around me were shocked because they hadn't heard words like those before. So in any event, I was glad to, I regret not getting here earlier because I really would like to have been here when the folks were here, when we were recognizing, I think, the great action that they took. And it's what makes America great is when people step up and do their thing and help their fellow citizens. I do want to personally thank the personnel of Engine Company 33. They've been over to Estero Cove, which I live next door. Estero Cove is the condominium association, lives right next door to Station 33. And right now, we're very full. We're very full of lots of people. And when lots of people are around, there are illnesses and injuries and whatnot. And particularly when there's a lot of elderly people. And they've been over 2 or 3 times now and done just an outstanding job working with those folks that were in dire need of help at the moment. And that's, of course, what we're here for, is public service. And I just saw such empathy, sympathy, and incredible skill and ability as they came in and did their work. So I couldn't have been prouder of them, and I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of the people of Estero Cove, and thank you on behalf of the entire island, because we need you, and you do a great job for us, and I'm thrilled. I think that's about all I have to say, because I said most of it in the car.
Well thought. Thank you, sir. And I'll echo it again.
I rolled the window up.
What the rest of the board has said about our recognition tonight. You know, it's one of those things we expect of the folks in uniform that are sworn to come to our aid in a time of need, and to have a fellow citizen, an off-duty firefighter, beach patrol, you know, all those folks kind of pitch in and do the right thing at the right time in a seemingly coordinated effort. I didn't see anything other than everybody working together, and that's I think it's a big step for the beach community to see that. Very fortunate for that gentleman that the pieces fell into place at exactly the right time. The AEDs, I look back at when I was a police officer, having to lug that thing in my car every day, and when you see cases like this where it pays off, and all those trips make it worthwhile. You know, we didn't have permanently mounted ones. We had to carry our own to the vehicle, back and forth. But that's, you know, it's an important program, and they're so beneficial for the outcomes to have those in place. So if by any means your civic community group, get the training, find out where your nearest one is. If there's not one nearby, coordinate and try to use your resources, coordinate with us, and we will get one to you as affordable as possible. They're not cheap, but they really are amazing devices, and they're, you know, if cops can use them, they're idiot-proof. You know, it walks you through every step. So it's a really miraculous little machine. Excited to see the station coming out of the ground. Like everybody said, going by for the last week.
I got a good look at it.
Yeah,
And it did look great.
Got out of his car, took a look at it.
did a couple laps. And to realize that, you know, in the very near future, that'll be filled with people and equipment and activity is really exciting. It is grander in scale than I imagined just by drawings and renderings.
I thought the same thing.
And I love it. I just think it's going to be our little trophy piece for the district to have that up there. And I'm anticipating our personnel are going to have a little bit of an arm wrestling contest to see who gets duty at that station. So it's going to have a great view, and, you know, get to heckle traffic goers all day long and play pickleball in the back or whatever else goes on in the non-emergent hours. But it's good to see. Excited to see our new hires across the board. And you know, I was thinking as this process started that you can't have the left without the right. You can't have new personnel without new supervision. You can't have new personnel without training. And, you know, the more people we bring on board, the more coordination we need administratively to handle those careers, because they really are careers that we're not dealing with individuals. You know, we're people that are dedicated to their job. And I'm really excited for our new assistant chiefs, and Chief Arminger's promotion here in the coming months is exciting to me. Watched him make a few moves since I've been here, so that's I'm sure his wife's going to be shopping for a new house soon. But with that, yeah, great job by all. Thanks again for a good meeting. Thanks for your patience in traffic for those of us who drove and walked and biked and came the other way if possible. And we'll make a note, and we'll ask Christine if she can put an asterisk on March for morning only. Unless there's anything else?